tax department. It means somewhere an assessing officer is trying to fetch our tax details. But what if you are selected for a faceless assessment from the income tax department? Hello everyone, I am Saloni from Webtel. In this video, we are going to discuss the process of faceless assessment. What is faceless? How many types of persons are involved and what kind of activities they do? So stay tuned, and before starting this video, I request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel Webtel Electrosoft to get regular compliance updates.
What is faceless assessment? But firstly, we need to understand the objective of the faceless assessment in India. However, it is applicable from 1st April 2021. As we all know, faceless assessment is applicable from 1st April 2021. And in faceless assessment, the use of specialized units to bring more efficiency to the tax government is there. What does it mean? It means specific activities related to the assessment are allocated to the specified persons or units. More artificial intelligence is involved in the daily routine of assessments, like the use of technology such as data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other latest tools to ascertain misreporting or the tax evasion. As the name suggests, faceless, which means the minimum human intervention, direct interaction with the assessing officer is no more available now. So the elimination of human interface and resultant corruption would be there. Now let's talk about the authorities involved in the faceless assessment. So first one is NAFC, which is known as a National Faceless Assessment Center. Then AU is known as Assessment Unit. VU is known as a Verification Unit. TU, which is known as a Technical Unit, and the last is RU, which is known as a Review Unit. So multiple units, or we can say area experts, are allocated to finish the entire proceeding for this one national center, and 4 units are designed under the National Faceless Assessment to conduct the faceless assessment of the assessees. Now let's talk about the National Faceless Assessment Center. So basically, National Faceless Assessment Center is a centralized proceeding center that conducts faceless assessments pan-India. The person in charge of NFAC is the Principal Chief Commissioner of the Income Tax or the Principal Director General of the Income Tax. Every type of communication between units and assessees is processed through this centralized center. NFAC sends notices and receives response from the assessees over virtual, or you can say online mode, and transfers the documents to the required units for further assessment. Now let's talk about the responsibilities of the different units. Firstly, we need to understand what is the roles and responsibilities of a AU. So the responsibilities of the AU are: first is to identification of the points or the issues material for the determination of any liability or referred for the faceless assessment. The assessment units are generally known as AU. AU is the unit of assessing officers that leads all assessments indirectly. They perform the function of making assessments. However, all communication is delivered through the NFAC, but behind it, the AU is the unit that prepares all relevant documents and verification with the questionnaires. And the responsibilities of AU is seeking the information or clarification on the points or the issue which has been identified by them, or analysis of the material furnished by the assessees would be the responsibility of AU to identify all these points and issues. Now let's talk about the verification unit. What is the responsibility of a verification unit? So the responsibility of a verification unit is to verify the documents provided by the assessee through the filing of the returns and replies against notices. VU is the unit that performs the function of providing verifications, which includes inquiry, cross verification, examination of the books of accounts, and the data response by the assessees. Or we can say the verification unit will verify the data which has been provided by the assessee through their returns, as well as a comparison would be there with the data which would be available on the other portals. And the next one is examination of the witness and recording of the statements. This would be done by the verification units. Now let's talk about the technical units. What are the responsibilities of the technical units? When we talk about technical verification in the faceless assessment, it is used to authenticate the information with the help of technology, as the name suggests. So, technology, or you can say technical units, TU, are the expert in artificial intelligence. They are involved in faceless to complete technical verifications as advice on legal accounting, valuation of property, and transfer pricing, forensic analysis, information technology, data analytics, and legal technical report for the assessments. These would be the responsibilities of a technical unit. Now let's talk about the review unit. Before the finalization of the final order, one more unit is involved to review all the aspects of the faceless assessment. NFAC can take suggestions from the review unit before finalizing the order. If suggestions are correct, then AU will change accordingly and release a revised copy of the order. Now you have understood the structure. Let's move to the next discussion, how a faceless assessment is conducted by NFAC and the process of faceless assessment that would be conducted by NFAC. So the procedure of faceless assessment conducted by NFAC would be allocation and assign the selected case to the purposes of faceless, automated allocation system for the selection of specific assessing office would be done by the NFAC. And in the initial stage, NFAC shall allocate and assign the selected case to the purposes of faceless through the automated allocation system to the specific assessing office and intimate the assessee via SMS or email alert that the assessee has been selected for the assessment in accordance with the procedure laid down under section 114B. Now let's discuss about the procedure of faceless assessment step by step. So in the first step, notice will be sent to the assessee which will be prepared by the AU units and it will be delivered through the NFAC center. So in this case, assessment units will send a notice to the NFAC centers on the basis of the points and issues that has been identified by the AU units. And after that, NFAC centers will issue the notice to the assessees. It may be under section 143 subsection 2 or it may be 142 subsection 1. And after receiving the notice from the NFAC centers, the assessee will submit a reply as per the notices, which will be including the attachment of the documents which was required by the NFAC centers. And after receiving the reply for the notice by the NFAC centers from assessees, then NFAC center will send the reply to the AU unit which has been received from the assessees. In the second step, if further information from the assessees are required by the AU units. So in this case, or in the second step, assessment unit will prepare a list of required documents and send it back to the NFAC center. And after receiving the list of required documents, NFAC center will send the questionnaires and list of required documents and evidence through the notice to the assessee. And after receiving the notice from the NFAC center, assessee will reply to the notice with the required attachment of the additional documents, if any. And after receiving the notice or the reply of notice from the assessee, NFAC center will send or reply forward to the AU units with the attached documents to the AU units for the further information which has been received from the assessees. In the third step, if any inquiry or any cross verification is required by the assessment units, then assessment units will make a request through the NFAC centers for conducting an inquiry or verification by the VU units. And then NFAC center will send the request to the VU units, and VU units will verify the data. They will cross verify the data and send it back to the NFAC center. And after receiving the data, NFAC center will again send it back to the AU units. And in the fourth step, if any technical requirement is there or additional technical clarification is needed by the AU units, then assessment units will make a request to the NFAC centers for the additional technical clarification by the technical units. Then the NFAC center will send the request to the TU units, and after receiving the data from the TU units, then the NFAC center will send it back to the assessment units. After that, income loss determination by the AU. Income or loss determination proposal containing all the essential ingredients of the assessment order. After receiving all relevant replies to the notices by the assessees, the AU shall, after taking into account all the relevant material available on record, and prepare in writing an income or loss determination proposal, where no variation prejudicial to assessee is proposed. AU may send the same to the NAFC for the next procedure. If the variation is being proposed, then notice is served on to the assessee stating that variations proposed to be made to the income of the assessee and calling upon him to submit as to why the proposed variation should not be made through NAFC centers. After that, issue show cause notice to the assessee through NFAC by the AU. If the assessee fails to comply with the said notice seeking information served by NAFC or the earlier notice under section 143(2) or under section 142 subsection 1, NFAC shall intimate the same to the AU. The AU shall serve upon the assessee through NFAC a showcase notice under section 144, giving him the opportunity to explain the reason or justification. The assessee shall file his response to the showcase cause notice under section 144 within the time specified in such notice to the NFAC, which shall forward the same to the AU. And at the end, the response of the assessee. The assessee shall file his reply to the show cause notice to the NFAC by the date and the time specified, which shall forward the reply to the AU. If the assessee fails to respond within the specified time, then the NFAC shall intimate the same to AU. After considering the response of the assessee or the intimation of the failure of the assessee to file a response received from NAFC and all the relevant material available on the record, the AU shall prepare an income or loss determination proposal in writing and send it to the NFAC. At the end, a draft order or reviewed by the review notice. Draft order and reviewed by review unit. Upon receipt of the income or loss determination proposal with or without any variations proposed to the income of the assessee, as the case may be, the NFAC may be, on the basis of the guideline issued by the board, conveyed to the AU to prepare a draft order in accordance with such income or loss determination proposal, which shall thereafter prepare a draft order or assign them income or loss determination proposal to RU through an automated allocation system, which shall conduct a review of such order, prepare a review report and send to NFAC. The completion of assessment. Review report to the AU. The NFAC shall forward the review report received from the RU to the AU. AU may accept or reject all the modifications proposed. AU prepares a draft order accordingly. The AU shall record the reason for rejecting the modification proposed by the RU. So, the NFAC shall forward the review report received from the RU to the AU, which has been proposed the income or loss determination proposal. AU may accept or reject all the modifications proposed in such a review report, prepare a draft order accordingly, and send it to NFAC. The AU shall record the reason for rejecting the modification proposed by the RU. At the end, the completion of the assessment. In the case of an assessee, the NFAC shall convey the completion of the assessment in accordance with such draft order, which shall thereafter pass the final assessment order and initiate penalty proceedings, if any, and send it to NFAC. The NFAC shall serve a final assessment order, notice for initiating penalty proceeding, if any, and demand notice specifying the sum payable by or refund of any amount due to the assessee on the basis of such assessment to the assessees. So the component of final assessment would be a notice would be there for initiating penalty proceedings, demand notice in case specifying the sum payables, and the demand notice specifying the sum refundables. So this would be the completion of your faceless assessment. Few points that need to be kept in mind which are related to the faceless assessments, that all communication among the AU, VU, RU and TU with the assessee for the purpose of faceless assessment shall be only through the NFAC only. All internal communication and the exchange of database, documents and evidence will be done through electronic mode only. Database, documents and other record related to the faceless assessment shall be authenticated by the way of electronic communication, digital signature and the electronic verification codes. In case of personal hearing, it shall be conducted through video conferencing and the telecommunication. Other points are also there, like orders, notices and the other electronic communication shall be delivered to the assessee through emails and mobile alerts on real-time basis and his registered account available on the income tax portal. The assessee shall file his response to any notice or questionnaire through his registered account only. Once the acknowledgement is sent by the NFAC, the response shall be authenticated. A person shall not be required to appear physically or through any other representative in connection with any proceeding under section 114B. An oral submission is allowed in case of clarification against showcase notice against the income and the loss determination proposal. So this is all about the faceless assessment.
I hope you have understood that faceless assessment is the new feature or technology to avoid the maximum wastage of time, where an assessee, rather than waiting outside for its turn, can do its other important work. Similarly, AO will take up the matters accordingly to the clarification and priority due to the tax demand. Share this video with your near and dear assessees and friends who are facing the process of faceless assessment. For a better understanding, I am sharing the blog on faceless assessment for more clarification. If you found this video helpful, then visit the link mentioned in the description below and let us know in the comment section if you have any doubts. Give a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Next Tuesday, we will be coming up with another interesting video to improve compliances for you. Till then, stay safe and stay tuned with us for a better compliance journey.